I have a question for you. Is there too much sound in this room? Is it loud? Have you ever considered that we aren't hearing the way that we are supposed to? No? Okay, I never really did either. But it's recently come to my attention that we might not be hearing things in the most optimal way that we should be. Apparently, a lot of the time when we hear sound, it gets a little distorted when it goes in our ear, hits the concha, and travels to our eardrum. What if there was a way for us to hear sounds more purely, so we're not overwhelmed with things like distortion and we have less anxiety overall by the sounds that are around us? Recently, I've come across a product that is supposed to help with that. Let me introduce you guys to the Flare Calmer. These are two little pieces of silicone that you put in your ears. It uses a waveguide to take the sound that's coming into your ear and bypass it right past the concha. The main aim of these are to reduce distortion of sound that you're hearing. So when you hear a loud clang of pans together, you have that extra reverb and distortion in your head. Sometimes when you listen to music that's too loud with too much of an intensive bass, extra vibrations and distortions that are going into your ear can be way too much for some people. Now, I'm not a sound expert. I'm not a doctor. I don't know the ins and the outs of how these are supposed to work exactly. All I know about this is that it is supposed to be comfortable and reduce unneeded distortion. Here's the real thing that got me. You know, you think if you find a product like this, it's claiming to do all of these things and reduce your stress, that it would cost a ton of money. But these only cost me about 27 bucks. I've tried to avoid watching a lot of videos on this so I can kind of give an honest first opinion. But what I have heard about this, that it is the equivalent of wearing sunglasses on a bright sunny day for your ears. Think about loud distortion as the sun and your ears as your eyes. This is supposed to be your ears, sunglasses in a way. I know typically on this channel I unbox things in a really weird way, but I don't have a box. This is the saddest day I've ever lived. If there was only any way you could cheer me up, I don't want to talk right now. I'm not in a good mood. What? You'll subscribe? Well, that would make me feel a little bit better. We're really close to 50,000 subscribers, so if you guys want to join the family, I guess that would make me smile a little bit more. They have some information about the product on the back, and they had this little seal which we can lift up to get into the package, or rip it off just like this. It didn't take too terribly long for this to come in the mail. I think it came in like a good week and a half. If I'm not mistaken, this is shipping from the UK. So inside of the little package here, we have a carry case. I guess some more information on the Flare Calmer, and then we have the Flare Calmers inside of this little package. Let's take a look at them. They will come out. Oh man, so you're telling me these two little things are gonna help me hear more clearly? Look at that. It's just two little pieces of silicone. I mean, they look pretty good. I don't know what I was really expecting. I'll probably do a series of tests to see what these really do for me. I'll put them in here, tell you guys how comfortable they are. Maybe I'll play some music. But what I'm really interested in trying out is bringing these out into public. Like going by a highway or maybe like a construction site, somewhere where there's a lot of noise. I wanna see what the difference is with these on in comparison with them off. All right, now put them in like this. Okay, I think they're in. Okay, we're good, we're in. Can't really notice them too much when I'm looking head on at you, but when I turn my head, you can see them stick out just a little bit. Just barely enough where you can like grab the end of it and pull it out of your ear. Is there any dramatic difference? Everything sounds just like a little bit more muted. Not even dramatically, like I can barely notice it. But I have like my fridge running in the room, the AC going, and like my lights flickering, and that's kind of dampened a little bit. When I take them out, I can definitely notice it for sure. It's very slight, but I think this can kind of come in handy when you have like a lot of sound around. They are directing the sound past the concha, so I'm getting more of a pure audio. I'm not getting all that high-pitched pinging distortion. I think one of my top concerns is that they were gonna be really uncomfortable, like I had like an ear swab in there, but now it really feels like things are much more open. All right, so let's do our first test here. They feel good, but we gotta see how music sounds with these. Obviously, because we're on YouTube, we're gonna go copyright free. Shout out to Harris Heller for your stream beats. I'm gonna listen to some like EDM to start, something with like a lot of vibration. All right, so let's go to like the climax of this song. We're gonna have a lot of noise on the drop. I'm gonna listen to it once without the flare, and then once with, just to see if there's any significant difference. The banger, bro! Okay, so we heard that without the flares. Let's put them back in and see if we got any significant difference. Let's go ahead and listen to the music a second time. Interesting. So a lot of like that sharpness is gone. Like some of the higher end stuff, some of like the treble stuff, is where I'm getting like the most distortion and like higher pitch pingy-ish sounds, things that kind of ring a little bit longer without these. But with them in, it feels like it's deafened down a little bit. It's not like it's in the other room. It's still just as clear, just less of a pitchiness to it, less of that ringing. Let's listen to something else. Let's listen to a lo-fi track. All right, let's start this one here and see how it sounds with them in first. It's soft. It's really soft audio. I think it's gonna have a little bit more of a zing to it when I listen to it the second time around without these. Like that synth in there is ringing on a little bit more without these than they are with them. Yeah, that synth sounds so much more smooth. Now, personally speaking, I don't have much of an issue with auditory sensitivity. I know some people really deal with it, but I think even with listening to some music very loudly, this could be handy for a ton of people. The fact that I can sit here and listen to 2 songs and notice the difference with these and without is really cool. I think what they are designed to do really functions, at least for music, but I have 2 other tests I really want to try out with this. The first one being, I'm going to be streaming tonight playing with some rather loud friends. I'm going to wear these the entire stream, do everything like normal, but just see how it is to play with these super loud people while I have these in my ear helping turn down some of that gain and distortion. Secondly to that, tomorrow I'm going to go out, maybe just go by the highway, listen to the cars, see how it is with or without, and then we can make a final consensus. But so far, for just listening to like a couple of tracks of music, it's really cool. It definitely gets rid of some of that gain and distortion you don't want, and I'm being 110% honest about this. As I'm sitting here talking about them, I'm forgetting they're in my ear. They're so not noticeable, especially after a couple of minutes. So I'm gonna stream for a little bit. I'm gonna get some info out of that. And if you guys ever want to stop by and see me stream testing out some products like this while I'm live, you can follow me on Twitch, where I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into that. We have a lot of really loud people to call. It's gonna be a good time, but hopefully these things keep my ears safe. So spoiler alert, it was still really loud.
Honestly, I'm gonna go with Duck this round, honestly.
Yeah. You're all a bunch of idiots. You're all a bunch of idiots. I played Among Us with 9 other people for about 3 hours. Half the time having these in and half the time having them out. And again, while I noticed some difference within the music and even some of the sounds within the game I was playing, all of the voices I had in that call were just way too loud for me to make any distinctive difference between the 2 different tests. Either way, with the cameras in or with them out, everything was pretty darn loud. Audio levels were peaking. Perhaps there were just way too many people in there for it to matter regardless. This might have been better if we had like 3, maybe 4 people in the Discord call, but it was still very overwhelming, still very loud. But I will note again, listening to music on my stream with these in my ears did make the music feel a lot softer. So I definitely think they work. It makes sense that there is a kind of point of diminishing return. This may reduce some eeriness from different sounds that you hear, but no, it does not make listening to 9 of your other friends argue about who the imposter is any easier or quieter. For the 3rd test of this video, I decided to actually go out into public. I know it's been a while since we've done that. Not actually into public, but beside public transportation. I decided to get myself together and head to a local highway, and all I did was stand there and listen. Really loud. It's like outside all the time. I don't know how well you can really hear me out here. I can barely even hear myself speak. You gotta try these out. Put these in. See how it feels now. It's weird, man. Let's really listen. It's still loud out here, but I can. There is like a bit of a high end to that that's monotone. It's like the loud noises are still there, just a little bit more bearable with these in, which is really fascinating. I take them out and I can do that. The way I hear myself is so different with these in too. In, out, in, out. You're probably wondering what the world I'm doing like this on the side of the road. Bye, everybody. They seem to do the job. Not terribly bad. I think as a whole, I can already see by standing out near the highway for a couple of minutes that these are starting to do the job that I want them to do. There's a lot of sounds going on. There's different cars flying by, engines revving, and though I'm still hearing the same things that I always do, they weirdly have a little bit less of a sting to them. It's not quite as loud. Things sound muffled, but not in an extreme way where I can't hear things. Like I still hear everything around me. It just doesn't sting as bad. It's not as distorted. I guess that concludes it for test number 2. I'm going to get out of the middle of the road and go home. So I tried these out in a lot of different ways, and I will say I think I've noticed some difference. That is definitely for sure, but there's one more thing I do want to test out. This might be a bit of an extreme, but I want to see what it's like to clang these together. You're just gonna make a very high-pitched sound that usually would make your face go like that. I think it's gonna be pretty annoying either way, but I want to see just how unbearable it is with these and without these. So first step, take pen and clank. I'm so sorry for your ears at home because I know you have no protection, but for me, I gotta test this out. It's science. All right, 3, 2, 1. Oh man, did my face crunch up there? Let's see how eerie it is with these in my ears. Do one more clang to see if it's any different. In 3, 2, 1. Interesting. It's a little hard to tell, but I do notice that when I don't have these in and I clack them together, there's a little bit of like an instant jump from my ears. The actual vibration itself doesn't feel as violent with these in. The uncomfortability is still there from hearing them. How well are these actually working? Now, overall, with all of the different tests that I've run, I noticed that there is a difference. I find that the best difference for me comes from when I'm actually just listening to music. All the different synth and hi-hats of the percussion that have a little bit more of an aggressive vibration don't feel as aggressive. So maybe these are good for people who would like to listen to certain kinds of music, but you can't because it stresses you out. It's not like I'm awoken to this whole world of things I'm not hearing. It's not like a colorblind person seeing color for the first time. It's just protection. It's keeping you safe from all that aggressive vibration. And in that sense, it definitely does work. Would I wear them every day? Probably not, for a couple of reasons. Number one, I don't think it's big enough of a difference for someone like me to need them every day, like my life has been changed by this product. Secondly to that, they are comfortable and you kind of forget they're in your ears after a while. But I was thinking about this, you know, a lot of my family members produce a lot of earwax, which is so gross. I personally don't produce a lot of earwax. You know how gross it's gonna be to like look at this thing when you pull it out of your ear? You're gonna have these little pieces of plastic covered in wax on your counter, and nobody wants that. It's gross. I can definitely see what people mean by saying they're equivalent to sunglasses when it's bright outside, but for your ears against aggressive vibrations. But I think across the board for everybody, when it's super bright outside, none of us can see. I think a lot of normal people can take the kind of vibrations that these are preventing. So that's the clear difference. If you don't have a problem with audio sensory, you're not gonna really need these every day. At least I don't think so. I would be super interested to try these out for like a solid week. Maybe I'll kind of follow up and let you guys know about that. I definitely plan to keep wearing them to see how I feel, but just off the last 2 days, I don't notice a huge shift in my stress level. So I'm really curious to see what you guys think. If you have a product like this, or specifically this product, I wanna know what your thoughts are on this. And if you're watching this video and you think this could actually help you out, you can buy them for only like 27 bucks in the link down below. Try them out, let me know what you think. I think it's super inexpensive to at least see if it helps. Maybe it can make a big difference in somebody's life. But for me, I don't think I need it every day. It's a cool idea and you could probably trick yourself that it's really helping, but unless you seriously need it, I don't really know if you need it. I'll keep wearing it for a little longer. I'll update you guys on what they're doing for me on my Twitch stream, where I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. But yeah, that's my comprehensive review. It might be worth it for you just to pick it up and try it. Again, if you do, let me know what you think. But now that our tests are concluded and the video is done, I hope you did enjoy today. And if you did and you don't mind doing so, go ahead and drop a sub-like comment. That's a subscribe, a like, and a comment. And I will see you in the next video. Hey, want to say a massive thank you to Soccer Polak and Grip Tuck for being the only Tier 5 supporters on the channel. Tier 5 supporters get shoutouts by name at the end of every single video as I record these unique outros for you guys. It's one of the many ways I try to say thank you for supporting the channel financially the way that you do. If you guys want to become a member of any tier today, click the link down below. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.